Yeah, so here we are, it's Friday afternoon. Yep. Barney Rubble is evicted. No more holes in the floor anywhere, all fixed. This is that metal-based sealer stuff that I've put in there just to test it out and see what it does. And that seems to be covering, that'll cover all these seams and seal them. Lots of seams, hey? Then the other things that happened were, what else did I do this week? I got the exhaust pipe back up into place. And right now, that's going out the door. Because, another cool thing, I don't know whether this week or last week, but anyhow, the fuse box is in there. Now I have it running on the fuel pump. The mechanical fuel pump is what's doing it now. It's running through the electric fuel pump, but the electric fuel pump is turned off. Anyhow, but here's something fairly cool. Wait till I get my hand in the right spot here and my foot in the right spot and see if the throttle works. How do you like that, eh? And that's without even trying to tune it or anything. It just runs. So I think that's a bit of a win. And it sounds good. Here, I'll make it so you can hear it. Just a nice sound. So I think we're making some pretty good progress here. And the motor, like no knocks or anything in the motor. Nothing seems to be out of whack. So I have to figure out how to get the tachometer working. I know there's a wire that's supposed to go to the tachometer, but I don't know where it is. So I'll have to figure that one out, find it, I'll track it down next week, or tomorrow. Anyway, I thought you'd be pleased to see that thing running like that. I haven't got the clutch all figured out yet, but that'll be, oh look at that, the wheels are turning. It wants to go somewhere. Isn't that something? But it is in neutral, that's just stuff going through the gearbox. So I'll let it warm up a few minutes and then I'll shut it off. But it sounds like sounds all right to me. The only thing on here now, the only light that's on there is a choke light. The voltage regulator seems to be okay. It's got lots of oil pressure, up around 40 at an idle. Clock's working. Tachometer, I've got to have to figure that out. I'm not really sure what wire it is for that. I know it sort of worked before, but I have a new ignition system for it that I've an electronic type ignition, optical ignition it's called, where it breaks there's a beam of light that the plastic thing goes through and breaks it, and that sparks. We'll see what that goes like. Anyway, that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm enjoying it. So that's good. Everything sounds good and it all runs nice, so I'll just keep on going. See you next week. Yeah, there it was a good experiment, but the heater didn't like the restricted airflow. The way that heat pumps work is they pump a large volume of air through at low temperature, and so I was slowing down the volume of air and the heat pump was making noises. So I took off the filters and it's back to normal running. I guess I have to make sure I keep the filters inside clean. Yeah, so here I am. did a little experiment with the clock just to see if it was keeping proper time. Now, it's painful to try and adjust it. I think I need to do some cleanup in there so that it is easier to adjust. I'll get to that. But yesterday I checked it out and I did, from real time, it seems to be 6 hours and 20 minutes ahead of real time. So right now it says 7 o'clock, and wait till I check the time on here. Hang on. Yeah, right now in real time is 12:39, so that's, 6 hours and 20 minutes off there. So that's pretty good. I think it's keeping time. Now I can unhook the battery and I don't lose my experiment, right? There, I got the battery out of the way. Now, today, I want to just do a little bit of an experiment. I don't know if that fuel pump in the car actually works or not. I just put an electric one in because they're more reliable, really. But I think I'm pushing too much pressure into the fuel system from the electric fuel pump. So what I'm going to do is run a pipe from here down to there, and then run another pipe from there up to here. Now I don't know which one is the inlet and which one's the outlet, so I have to figure that out, I guess. Anyhow, I'll figure it out. Then I'll try running the car using the mechanical fuel pump and see if it overruns the carburetors the way that electric one has. And then if it does, then I'll do some more thinking about it. And if it doesn't, I'll maybe find an electric pump that doesn't have as much pressure. We'll just see. Yeah, so it looks like there's a little arrow on the top of the fuel pump that's going that way. So I'm going to say that this is the inlet, that's the outlet. So I'll run a line from here, which is where it comes from the gas tank, to there, and then from there up to this one here, which is where it goes into the fuel system, into the carburetors. Okay. Yeah, there, it's all hooked in there now. I'm saying that this is the inlet and that's the exit, which looks like it's right. And the hose goes right up over the top of that ground wire. Oh well. Anyhow, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the battery in it, turn on the electric pump to just prime that thing, then give it a crank and see if it starts and see if it pumps gas. Yeah, so I thought I had that wire solved. I got wire that came through over there. Anyhow, looks like this is where the water thing goes for the windshield wiper stuff. So Henry, you're right again. And that wire came through over there, and it wouldn't be able to reach this far, I don't think. So I'll test that wire out and see what it does. Yeah, there I ran the water, not the water, I ran the fuel pump, the electric one, and it pressured up the system, and nothing leaks except for where it's leaking out the bottom of the carburetors, the way it always had, the way it does. Now I'm going to pull the fuse on the fuel pump, and this, I just stick it in here. This one here is an empty spot, right? So I pull the fuse on the pump. I'll go open the doors and I'll give it a crank. Yeah, here we go. I'm ready to give it a crank over and see what happens here. Now, if I can get around to the other side, I'd be able to, run the choke or something here. Now, it looks like that one there is still dripping, so perhaps the pump is pumping just as hard as anything, hey? This one here is still dripping too. I'll give it another crank and just see what happens. Don't know what would happen if I got my foot on the gas pedal. get my foot on the gas pedal without falling through the car. Barney Rubble had a bad day. Anyway, that's good enough for checking. I wonder if we got fuel. Yeah, we got lots of oil pressure coming out of it, so that works. Got volts and everything. Anyhow, seems that when you rev it up, it works all right, or it seems to. Now what's going on here is no fuel leaking out of there, so maybe that's the pressure thing there. Okay, I got to get a choke hooked up on it. So what I can do is maybe I'll hook up a little bit of a choke thing here. Well, there's some fuel leaking there now. That seemed to be when I pulled up the choke. Anyhow, that proves that the pump is working, number one. So I'll leave that hooked up for now. And I'll just, the electric fuel pump is still in the system back there. And it's passive. It'll let the fuel flow through, and it's also got a filter on it, so I'll just leave it there. Then yeah, it's still recording. So I'll give it another crank here. Wait a minute. I'll see if I can hook up a choke thing. Yeah. So here now I've got this. Here's my choke. There's a pair of vice grips hooked onto that thing over there, and then this is in my hand. A wire, right? And then I'm recording it. Try again. No, nothing happens. Wonder if the pump is not pumping fuel. I'll take a look here now and see. Ran there for a minute or two before I had the camera on. I was quite pleased. No way to tell. I'll give it a prime, right? See what's going on now. Because I actually had it running. There's some fuel going up the thing, right? There, turn off the electric. Now, there should be fuel into it up here somewhere, maybe. I'll see if I can make something happen. Maybe that fuel pump is blocking stuff back there. May have to bypass the fuel pump. Well, I'll just give it a go here again and see what happens. So here, pull up on my choke, right? Turn the key. Whoops. Yeah, it might be that the electric fuel pump is blocking the flow from this other thing, so we'll run the fuel pump for another minute or two, fill up the pots and see what happens. Maybe I ran the tank out of gas, hey? There's the fuel pump going. See what's happening here, nothing. I'll leave that going. Make it all happen. Pull the choke. Nothing. Oh, now what? Hey, now what? I guess there's one way to find out if the other one's pumping or not. Anyway, I'll try it again. Yeah, so anyhow, Henry had some questions. This thing here comes into right here. This one, that's your crankcase ventilation. That's supposed to go to the air breather. And it goes right to there, right? You can't see that very well, right to there. This one here, which is a vacuum hose down here, goes to the brake. It just comes across here and goes into the brake, I think. Into the brake, like that's a brake booster there. So I should block that hose off maybe. Yeah, so I pulled this hose and there was fuel there, so it seems to be still pumping fuel. Now I don't know why it's not starting unless I knocked a wire off somewhere or did something silly, which, you know, I would never ever do. Yeah, it seems to be all connected. Well, just give it another crack here and see what happens. Now that I've got the garage door closed, it'll likely start. Nothing. Here we go. Try umpteen. I think I got fuel going back into it. I don't know why the fuel stopped, but I'll pull the choke now. Runs pretty nice until it quits running. Wonder why that is. Anyway, it's not getting, something's not doing something. There, now I've got the electric fuel pump going again, and I don't know if there's fuel coming into that carburetor or not, but I'm gonna pull the choke, set it up and see if it'll go. Now that seems to go, so it was starving for fuel, I presume. Now, I'm happy there, and I've got an idea what to do about it anyhow. I'm going to unhook at the back there. I'm going to unhook the fuel from the electric thing. And just let it pump with just the motor one. And I'll pull a line and just see if it's pumping or not. Maybe I got that going backwards, eh? Who knows? Anyhow, I'll pull a line and just see if it's pumping. And if it is pumping, then I'll leave the electric thing on out of the line and try and run it just with the motor pump. But that's enough of that for now because I'm getting full of smoke here, and I'll let the place warm up again. And I've got that fan running to clear the smoke out. And I'll go to work on the yesterday I was on that wheel bearing on this side. So I'll go to work on the wheel bearing on the other side for a while. And then think about it a bit more. It's good to see it run steady like that. And well, we'll see if maybe it'll get better. Yeah, here we are, left-hand side, driver's side in North America. And I have to take apart the old hub, which is here. All the stuff is here. Take that apart, put the brake back onto it, and get this bearings out of here. Don't need that, it's garbage. And that'll be a good start for the day. Yeah, there it is. So now I've got the bearings. I guess you call them the inner cup. Or there's the front one, the one for the outside. There's one for the inside. Yucky. Don't want to touch. You can see them both there. There's all the other stuff that goes on. That washer, sort of a lock washer, because this thing has got a square side to it to keep that washer from moving. And then this is the lock that goes on the outside of the bolt that I missed showing you yesterday. I'll try and get that captured today so you have an idea what's going on. Now, you can see in here, I don't know if you can see very well, I'll use my, right down in there. Wait, I'll turn on the light. More light. Torch on. So you can see right down there, there's a bit of a, like a, no, it's not there anyhow. Don't know where it is. Yeah, right here. Right here. Yuck. Somewhere in here. Can't see anything. Too much grease. Maybe I'll clean the grease out of here and then I'll show you. How about that? That'd be a good idea, eh? Yuck. Lots of yuck. Now, turn on some light here. There. So you can see that little indent right there. There's another one the same on the other side, over here. Down there. Out there. Then that's for this front race. And that's pretty easy to get to. This one here is hard to get to because that's the back side here, right? But the front one you can see down there, ways down. Can you see that? Yeah, right down there. That's pretty easy to get to that one. You can get to that with a cold chisel and just knock that bearing race out of there. You know, tap, tap on one side, tap, tap on the other side. This one here is a little bit more difficult to get to, but I found yesterday that this tool here will reach in there and get it. And so I'll hopefully get them out fairly quick. Yeah, so there's the first one, and it just was pretty easy because I just used the cold chisel, which is greasy now, and I put it in there and gave it a couple of taps on the back of the race, and it just drops right out of there. The other one here, this one here, is more difficult. I'll see if I can get it to come out, see what happens. Yeah, there, I got it moving with this here. Held it in a pair of vice grips because yesterday I bashed my hands a couple of times, didn't need that. And I've got enough room in now to put the slide hammer in behind it, I think, and pull it out that way without, and then I don't have to worry about scratching up the inside of that bearing seat. Yeah, there, I got the slide hammer. This thing here, you tighten that down and it pushes these out. Then you just whack it up like that. So I'll just do that off camera here because it's a two-handed operation. Or I could, if I could find my little thing, I'd set it up to watch it. Wait a minute. Yeah, there, how's that camera angle? Not great, but not bad. So anyhow, you just give it a whack like that. And it pulled right out of this vise. So I'll put it back in the vise. I don't know if it's coming or not. Might be. Give it a couple more whacks. Oh, pulled it right out of the vise again. Okay, a couple more tries here. I think it's coming. Don't make you sweat. Yep, there it is. Just like that. Makes it look easy, doesn't it? But it isn't. Anyway, there we go. Turn this off. Yeah, so that was about 2 hours of work yesterday just trying to get that out. Or get the front one came out easy, the back one didn't come out easy at all until I figured out how to do it. And now that it's out there, then I use that race to put up against the new bearing race to put it in with the whatever you call that thing, the press. Anyway, we'll get on to that next. Yeah, now here's the new race. I'll see if I can get it set up to go in properly. It just sort of sits in there like that. And then I'll put the other race on top of that and press it in from there. See that? See if that works. So here's the old race, right? So all I do is put that on top of there like that. Put that little piece of metal right on top of there like that. That's the wrong one. Where's the right one? I'll find it. Yeah, here I am back again. So I've got the new race in there ready to push in. This race on top of it, and it's exactly the same size, so it'll be good. And then that piece there goes right there for a flat piece to push on. Nice piece of steel. Then you just start cranking this thing down. When it gets really close there, I'll make sure it's centered, everything's centered up. So there, you got to get it all centered up both ways. Whoops. And make sure everything's on there flat. If it's not centered and flat, then you're looking for problems. That looks pretty good there. And to check from that side, it looks pretty good there. See what happens. No, it's going down crooked. You see that? Not straight. Okay, I gotta do this with two hands. There, I think I have everything straight now. Gotta make straight line there and straight line there, or else it just doesn't work. Yeah, that's going in good now. So I'll just go in like that, and that's pretty well got it right there. What did I miss? I was looking at the wrong spot, but it's pushed that down. And then the other race just sort of pops out because it's not in a pressure situation there, I don't think. Pull this out. That race just pops out of there. Now I've got to go in a little bit farther on that. It's got to just head in a bit further. So I need another piece, which is over here. Where is it? This piece. That piece there. So you stick the race in there, and that's nice and centered now. And then this piece here, have to let some pressure off that. Should be enough room there now. This piece here just sits in there. There, like that. Make sure it's going nice and straight. Then tighten up that thing. And away we go again. Make sure that comes down to the center. A little bit of pressure on it now. Not quite centered. I think we're okay. Push down. There, the bearing's going in now. I think that's all the way it has to go. Yep. Yeah, that's all the way. I'll just check over here where there's better light. Yep, it's good. Now I'll get this other piece out of there, which may be a bit of a challenge now. I'll try it out. Yeah, there we go. That's in there and seated right at the back of there. Now I have to just put the front one in. There's my new bearing there. Nice and clean. Now this one here, I'll take it and press it into there. Yeah, no, that worked. It's seated right in back against where it's supposed to be. A little bit of a gap right out here in the front of it for whatever reason. So anyhow, now I just gotta take my bag of grease that comes with, right? Take a grease them all up, put the seal in. Wonder where that is. There's the seal right there. Put the seal in it and install the brake disc to it, then put it on the car. Yeah, there you go. That's all packed full of grease there now. Now I'll get the seal and I'll just put it in, tap it in slowly. I'll show you. Yeah, here we go. So I've got it started there and I just tap it lightly all the way around. Now, excuse me not knowing exactly where the camera is pointing because I'm looking at the seal here. I don't want to get that in the wrong spot. Okay, it's not round rubber anymore, so it's all the way in. That's that side done. Now I'll just turn it over and we'll put the other side together. There's my bearing. I'll just put it right there for now. I'll put a little bit of grease on the inside of that race. All the way around, I hope. Then I'll pack the bearing with grease as best I can. All the way around. Back side and front side. I don't know if it's out in view or I'm out of view. Who knows, eh? Anyhow, this grease comes with it. It's some sort of blue stuff, synthetic, I presume. I can drop that into where it goes, give it a couple of turns, right? Just to get that grease worked in there a bit. Then there's some left over, and I make sure that I get all of it. All the grease that came with it goes into it. Packed in here. There's no point having grease still left in here, right? Packed in as well as I can. There, so let's see if I can get some more on the other side, right? Just come from up behind it here. There. That'll be enough grease in there to grease a monkey, eh? Now, just leave the camera running. I think it's running. Who knows, eh? Yeah, it's even running. Wonder what you're looking at. Yeah, I'll see if now I'll pull this out of here. I'll just set it down over here for a minute. I gotta get the brake drum, or the brake, whatever you call it, off camera, just sort of cleaning the dust off of it. And then, let me see, give me a minute here to get set up. I'll just leave it running, what the hell, eh? Make it so you can see maybe a bit better. And then this will go in here. I'll just like that. These are the bolts, not to be confused with anything else. And this goes in here, like that. Sounds like a fly going nuts up there. Must be warm in the ceiling, eh? Just use a screwdriver to get the bolts lined up properly. Maybe. And I don't know what size. I think they're 14s. I'll check that out. Because I'll get my sockets are right here. Yeah, 9/16, 14. That one started. That one started. That one started. That one started. And I'll put my automatic wrench on it. Dirt. There we go. Now, just to see that they're actually tight. Yep. 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 I think that thing there goes to like 50 pounds per square inch or something. Not really sure. Anyhow, that's all ready to install on the car now. So that'll be the next trick, right? I'll turn this off. While I still had the rubber gloves on, they're off now. I put some grease on the spindle here. That was a small amount left in that bag of grease. Now this part here, I don't think I have the strength to do that. I'm going to take this and put it on there. Yeah, there we are. So this piece here, it's like, it's got that half moon shape thing. It just goes on one way, and that makes it so that it won't turn, but the bearing will turn against it. Then this nut here goes on. And you get grease on your hands as usual. So now I'm just turn that a couple of times so that before I tighten that nut up, then I'll tighten the nut up. Don't know what size it is. I forget. 15/16 it is. And then you don't put any power tools on that. Just a, you know, normal everyday ratchet will do it. So ratchet. There, starting to spin on there now. It was held on something there. I think it was just held on the... So you turn it on till it's pretty tight, and it's tough to turn the wheel, right? Then you back it off, and the wheel should flow easily, or more easily than that. So I'm gonna back it off a bit more, and then turn the wheel back and forth a bit until it's feeling good, and then tighten it back in. Okay, I got to do that with two hands, so I'll do that for a minute or two here. There, I'm pretty happy with where it sits now. I've been, I tightened it in all the way, then I loosened it out a bit, and made it go clickety-click so I knew that it was loose. Then I tightened it in again, and I turned it back about a quarter turn. Now in here, underneath that grease, there's a hole right there for the cotter key to go through. But first, This bit here goes on, which is like a holder for the nut, and then the cotter key will go through that, and everything will be happy. And the whole thing came with new cotter keys. Yeah, one big one. I thought there was a smaller one that came in the other set. That one there is a bit big, so I'll put the old cotter key back into it here. These cotter keys will never ever get rusty because they're always covered in grease. So it can go right through here. Looks like a two-handed operation again, from wherever I get it started. There we go. Anyway, there we go. It's coming through now. Take a hammer and tap that through. Just so happens I have a hammer right here. Now you just take a pair of pliers, which I happen to have right here. Oops. Likely be a lot faster if I was doing this with two hands, you know. There. Do that. Do that. Happy system. With two hands I'll take and I'll flatten it back a bit. Then the cover goes on. Hang on. Yeah, so there, that's all together there. And I'm happy. Then this is the cover for the dust cover, and it just goes on, and not much holds it, but there's a little not much holding that one at all. The tire has a cover over it also to keep it from, the wheel has a cover over it to keep from that falling out. I'll think about that. Anyhow, now the next thing is to get the brake caliper onto it, which I have that one there. Which one's right? This one here has two tabs. This one here, sadly I broke one of the tabs. So I have to put the brake shoes into there and find those two cotter keys that are supposed to be in it, but I'll figure that out. Yeah, so you can see I'm down to my last 100,000 cotter keys here. I found two of them that should work. They go through. Doesn't have to go through far, just enough to keep that, just as a keeper for the brakes. So just enough to keep that in place. So I'll do that. So there, that's through, and I just use this and give them a little bit of a twist, but not too much, because otherwise it's a pain in the ass next time we want to take it apart. So now this part here will come out when I get it on the car, so I think I'm set to put that onto the car. Yeah, I just about fell over. So anyhow, the in here, that nut that's in there, the size on that is a 15/16. And then these ones back here, I don't know if you can see that, I'm not in the right spot here. Let me get around here. Yeah, there. So those ones, like that one there, that holds the brake caliper on, that's a 3/4. This, I don't know if I got this yesterday. I missed a few things. This part here, there's a washer that has to go in here, but you have to loosen off. This is the control arm for the steering mechanism. You see that? So there's one bolt here, and then the steering mechanism, and then the other bolt is here. So you loosen this bolt off a little bit so that you can get a washer in behind here that has to be a spacer washer that fits in there. So I'll do that. There, I'm set to go. I've got that bolt there loosened out. That one in there, and then there's, see the, need 5 hands. Right in behind there, there's the caliper is solid against the strut, and then there's a spacer washer, and then this arm on there. This side here is just straight onto the strut without any problems. Then you crank them in with your automatic hammer, and I'll give them a tighten by hand. Yeah, then the last thing is to get this brake line onto here. I'll just take the tape off there. You need two hands to get that molded right, and it goes into right here. Yeah, there now. I've done prettier lines on that one, but I guess it'll be all right. There's a bit better picture. I took the smudge of grease off the front of the camera. Good idea, Lauren. So there, I've done prettier lines on that one, but that one will be okay for now. If I don't like it in the future, I'll change it. We'll see how it goes. Anyhow, now, as far as the bottom of the car, underneath the car goes, I could put wheels on it if I really wanted to, and it would roll. I still have to go, and I'll do it right now. I'll take the back drums off and torque those, what do you call those things there? I have to torque these on, right? They're not torqued on yet. They're just on there loose. Well, not loose, but because the thing was taking a ride, I couldn't put a wrench on it to torque it. But everything's solid now, so I'll take off the drums and I'll torque them on. Yeah, there you go. I've got this big old wrench, and I've done them all. This is the last one. And that's tight. Oops. Don't lose your wrench inside the wheel. And I'll put that back on. I think I found one of those screws to hold that on there. I'll just check and see. Hang on. We'll see what we got. I gotta put the drum back on, but way over here, cleverly hidden over here in a bag. I saw it the other day, right here. Okay, I've got to get that off there. There now, I've been looking for this, and I thought it was lost, but it isn't. It's here and in a very safe location. That's for doing brake lines, for cutting brake lines, and I'm going to put that in my little toolkit. Okay, anyhow, now here's the bolt. I hope this fits. We'll find out. Yeah, it's a BMW part, so sadly it doesn't fit. I'll see if I can find a bolt, and maybe I'll make something to fit that. Because it's on the other side I have one. This side here is missing it. So it looks like that. And it's sort of a countersunk thing. But I'll see what I can do about. And these are holes for adjusting the brake, I guess. Who knows? I'll see what I can come up with here. I might be able to find a bolt, and then I'll make it so it sits flush on there. How's that? I'll work on it. Yeah, there I've got these ones tightened up now too. So that's both sides are tight, and then the drum goes back on, and I'll put the little screw back in there. I tried to manufacture a screw for the other side, but I can't seem to find the right thread for that. It's some sort of oddball thread. So one of these days I'll order up two new little screws like this, if I ever remember, because you know I order stuff online but then I forget those. One of these days. There, that's all looked after. Now, I think what I'll do is go back to being a welding guy. Get this bit here built and welded in. It's a little bit complex, that piece. But I'll just put it out to like halfway along this bar. Whoops, where am I pointing? I'll put it out to like halfway along this bar here, and then do a joint there for this part that goes over here. Because otherwise it's very difficult to get that stuff fitted into right spot. Anyhow, I'll give it a go. Yeah, so it's a bit complex, this piece here. And maybe look at the other side. Yeah, so the whole thing dives down. Across here, dives down to about this level. Then comes up and meets here, right? So, what I better do is see if I can make the floor pan
I think what I'll do is I'll make the floor pan across here to that bend, and the floor pan across here to that bend. Like it's kind of a complex curve there too. And then I'll weld in a piece that fit in there, and then I'll, you know, fill it in. But if I go across here first, that'll give me something to anchor everything to. And I'll make the curve here to make it look good. Don't know what the hell that's supposed to anchor to down there, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, so there now I've got that piece cut to about the right with the curve on here. That'll squeeze over and get onto there. First I'll get it welded on there, and then last it'll weld on here. And then it's pretty level right there. That's close enough for my kind of guys right here. That's just a little bit off level, and I don't know how level the car is, but this way it is level. You can see the bubble there. It's level this way, and I'm pretty sure the car is pretty level because on here, yeah, the car is level. So I don't know if the car is level back and forth this way or not, but it's likely pretty close. Anyhow, that's enough for today. I'll pull that off and I'll paint that stuff on the inside, and then tomorrow I'll get to be welding it. Yeah, now I know I said I was going to do that bit over there first, right? But to do that piece, I pretty well have to get this piece in place. And I happen to have a piece of steel that would just fit there, sort of. And it looks like it might work out all right. I'll worry about that. That corner up there is sort of making all those curves come together up there. I'll do that separate. But it seems to be in this thing here, making all those curves come together, do it separate too. But up in that corner there it'd be difficult. But I think I can make it happen all right now. Cool. Yeah, I know. So here I am. This piece this piece, that piece will make it right to the ground, right? Hey. Anyhow. This piece will fit in here pretty close. Take 3, right? Don't know what I'm doing here, but this piece will come in pretty close to being a nice fit, right like that there. And how did I get that shape to go so it's hitting there properly, right? So how do I get that shape? I took just a little piece of scrap metal and laid it on. Laid it on there and got pretty close to the right angle in the right position. So then I bent this whole piece like that. I cut out this little chunk here and made this roll in it on that side. And then it needed a couple of, like right here you can see where it goes across and does an angle thing. So I made that angle thing in here, and the same at the top, a little bit of an angle thing, so I put that in there. Now what I'll do is I'll lay it on here and I'll mark the spots I need for spot welds. Then I'll put it into place and start building out from that. Yeah, I know, spot welds or plug welds, whatever you call them. So what I do is and this comes from Fitzy's Fabrication. He does this way. I drill the holes where I want them with a 1/8 bit. I just take a, where is it? 1/8 bit and drill guide holes. Then I come back after and use one of these step drills, and then I take it up to 3/8 of an inch or 3/7/16 or something like that. Anyhow, it's number 4, number 1, 2, 3, 4 on the step drill, and the number is
I think it's 7/16. Anyhow, something like that. And that makes a good size hole to plug weld. Then I'll stick it in there and start working on it. Yeah, there it's all in place now. A good fit up here at the top end, all along there. A good, reasonably good fit here. I've got this piece of, like, that's a pipe bearing puller thing, or a wheel puller, or whatever you want to call it. And I got a piece of square tubing so that I can tighten it down and push against the top to the bottom. So I'll plug weld this and this and this that are close. Then I'll see about getting a couple over here and see how it goes from there. Yeah, now about 2 months ago, this thing here was on sale at Princess's Auto, one of these Porta Power things. And it does a pretty good job. So I've got this, these plugs are in good because I pressed down, whoops, pointing the wrong way. These plugs are in good because I pressed down. Those ones there, I have to push in because there's a little tiny bit of, you know, space there. Those ones there will come down okay, that one's okay. And then if I get those three up there in, I'll be happy with everything is going to hold solid for me. Right on. Anyhow, I'll give it a try, see what happens. Yeah, there, that's welded in now. I have to make a little piece for in here. And see that hole right there? Gotta fill that somehow or other. I've been avoiding that for a long time. Then I'll do that hole there, and then I'll fill this floor in back here, and that'll be the floor done. Yeah, so now that's all. I filled in that hole up here and grinded it off. I can't get the grinder up in underneath there. I'll get that. I have a small grinder that I'll get up there later. And I fill that little hole right over there. Can you see that? Right where my finger is pointing. Then I'll start working on either that hole or that hole. I guess it's going to get all done. So I've been making this piece here to go in. I'll show you where. Sort of on the back half to meet up from in behind the light, right about there, along there, and it'll meet the edge right there, and go up and fill in that area there. So it's got that one where the hoop comes up, right? So I've built that. I made it to fit. Then I cut this angle into it so that it will fit all right, and I'll just put this together on the bench and grind it off, and so it'll look like real. Yeah, there it is. That's that little piece built. So now I'll see if I can get it into the car. Yeah, there it is. That's enough for today. So that part there is welded in, and along the top there is welded in. Now the wall starts curving in like that, and sort of a weird angle in there. This little bit here, I'll fill that in with a patch, and then I'll put the rest of the floor across. I'm not really sure how to do that yet. I'll figure it out. Yeah, there you go. I'll see you tomorrow. Back on the grind. Yeah, there now. I finally got around to putting my air filter on. Over here, I had it in the other shop, but it was got some vapor in, got some moisture into it, and then froze. So that's no good. So I put it in, took it off over there, and then that was a month and a half ago or two. Put it in here, hooked it onto the air system. So filtered air, yay! Yeah, now back to the task at hand. I'll make a little piece for that corner there. Then I'll make a, I think I'll make a, lights in the way all the time. I'll make a piece that comes across right through here, and then I'll make that bigger piece. Yeah, so it's got to be kind of a funnel shaped thing to go in there at the top end. So I've got a piece big enough for it. Then you stick it into this thing here that I made a long time ago. It's just a welded on couple of pieces of steel welded onto a pipe, and that makes it so you can bend things and twist things in kind of odd shapes, like that funnel odd shape. I'll see if I can make that fit, see how it's going to fit inside there now. Yeah, they're a little bit more shaping, and that'll sort of fit that hole all right. It's got to be pushed back on the top a little bit and then some trim done on it. So what I'll do is I'll lift the car up and see where it's got to be trimmed to. I'll push it back first and see how we can make it fit better. Yeah, for any of you that were looking at this and saw and said, hey, that fool's got that thing on backwards. Yep, he does so. I love doing things twice, so I'll take it apart and get it right. Yeah, there now. That's the right way. So there's an arrow on top here somewhere, it points that way. Yeah, right here, there's an arrow on top, points that way, so that's the way the air flows. And it seems to go. If you turn this little knob, yeah, lots of air comes out. That's how you drain the water out of there if it gets moisture in there. This one here, filters the air and traps any condensated moisture. This one here takes the moisture in solution out. Yeah, so there's close to the shape I need. It's kind of a curvish and pointy at this end. So I'm going to put it in the car, then I'll cut out, like cutting butt, I think, on that top side. This side here should slide right in. Anyhow, see what happens. Yeah, for this bit here, I've been up and down on the lift. So I go up, and I weld a bunch in here. So I welded that up down below here, then I go out and have to go up and sort of push that out to meet in here. Then I'll let it down, I push it up, I'll let it down now, and then I'll go up again, up and down about 100 times. So anybody that doesn't have a lift is really, oh, I feel sorry for you. Yeah, now that's welded up in there. There's a hole right there I gotta weld. I'll get to that from the top, I think. There's a couple of pinholes up in there that I've got to fix. Maybe I'll do that before I do anything. But I have to go back and I have to sort of pound this into shape here because it's not sitting just right yet. Yeah, there we go. That's all welded in there. I welded most of the top seam. I welded from the outside down to about there, and then I welded on the inside along there up to there, and then on the outside again for that bit. So I'll make a little piece to fit in here now and close that in, and then it's starting to look like a floor. Yeah, so there it is. That's pretty ugly welding right along there, but it'll get covered up with the rubber stuff, and if I get grinding on that, I'll grind right through the floor again. So that part over there is done from the bottom, and it's good. So I'll clean it up a bit in there somehow. This part here, now I just have to get a big piece and put some, there's a hoopy thing goes down here. Another hoopy thing goes, wonder where. I think I've saved a piece of this so I'd know where they go. Somewhere around here there's a hoopy thing. We'll figure it out. Yeah, sometimes I have an awful lot of trouble getting the camera to go. Anyway, here's a piece of metal that I saved. So you can see that the hoopy thing stops right here, and then it carries down, and it feathers out to nothing about here somewhere. This one here feathers out to nothing right there, and that's what I'll do with the other side. That half of it there that's still got to be put in. Then I'll feather it out. I'll take this one, and it feathers out to nothing about there. And then I don't know if there's another hoopy thing or not. It's got 1, 2. No, there's just 2 of them on that side. Yeah, there's just 2. One on top of the, so this is the only one that I really have to worry about. Yeah, so I have to clean off a piece of steel here. I've used this with just a 80 grit on it to clean all that factory finish off. I'll show you when I'm done. That's the first part done. There's part that isn't done. You see the dull, this is nice and shiny. Anyway, clean off all that old dull stuff and then it's easier to weld on. Yeah, so I'm back to making hoopy things. So this one here, it's got to be a slant that way along there. The back side here has got to be a slant that way. So I can get them both with the wheel on like this. Then this side here has got to be a slant that way, so I have to invert the wheels. And the same with that, it's got to be a slant that way, so I invert the wheel. Use it. I'll get that one and that one with the inverted wheels. Now, don't know what's going to happen when I go over that edge there. That's a, whoops, there. I got to go over the edge. I don't know what's going to happen there, so that might be kind of interesting. We'll see what happens. Yeah, there we have like it cuts off here. This piece here goes all the way. I just went to the close to the edge here, and then I came in from the other side. That one there I forgot to do, so I did it with a hammer and a cold chisel just to get that mark in there. Then right here, when I was bending it, I bent it the wrong way, so I had to straighten it out. And then when I was bending it the right way, it cut through, so I welded it up on the back here. Have a look right there. And then clean that up. So now, it has to be a little bit shorter here, which I'll figure out, and it's got to be a little bit shorter here. So I'll see if I can cut that off and get close to the right dimension to fit it in there. And then this has to be cut off about here, so it's just got to be a little bit less height on that. This part here isn't as long as on the passenger side or the right-hand side. It really should be about that long, but that's where it is because the other floor is in. Yeah, so here we go. I got this tacked in there. There's a hole here that I'll fill in later. Got a tack there, and on the edge here. So that's gonna fit all right. I'll do some work to get that down. Now I've got it right to the edge here, so I'm gonna cut and butt along here, and then I'll get that piece down there into place. I wanted to be careful here because that's the edge of that rail on the frame underneath there, and I don't want to be cutting into that. But now I'm north of that now, so I'm okay. So I'll just cut along this line, push that down, put a couple of welds in it. Then when that's solid, I'll start pressing in on this stuff here, and we'll get that fitted in. Anyhow, that's the plan. Yeah, as usual, talking to nothing. Anyhow, I cut along this line here that was along the edge of that piece of steel, so that'll drop down in there now. And then I had a weld here just for holding it, and I cut that out so I could push that down into place, and there, that's where it's supposed to sit, like that down there. So I'll, like that there, right? What I'll do is I'll put a couple of welds in here, get this straightened out. It might take a bit of hammer work to get that down properly, and then I'll put a couple of welds along there. Yeah, that's coming around pretty good, so we're all okay along this edge here. We're all okay along that edge there and up to there. Now, this has got to get pushed down to make this thing here fit down into the thing, into it. So I'll have to get my little tool, that pressure tool, and just put it on there and see if I can push that down. I'll try it out and see what happens. Yeah, there, that's mostly welded in now, all the way along the front of it there, all the way along the side of it there, and all the way along this back. That's pretty ugly along here, but I'll grind it up. And then this side here, that's pretty good. There's some more welding to do here, but I have to go into town for a bit. And so this is it for today. But turned out pretty good. Nice and solid all the way through. And you know, Bernie Rubble, not much room for Bernie Rubble anymore. Fred Flintstone and Bernie Rubble are out the door. Yay. I think that's, once I finish this up, there's a little bit of welding like right underneath here. There's a hole through there that I have to fix. And this stuff right in here is a bit weak, so I'm going to just cut that out and replace it. Same with maybe that, maybe not that. I don't think I can get to that because it's underneath the frame, but I can get to this one here, which is open, and there's a hole in it right there that I can see. So likely if I did this, it doesn't go through, but I bet you I can get something to go through. Anyhow, it looks pretty good, and I'm reasonably happy with all that.
Yeah, so there we is. There we are. This is all. I found a spot over here that was weak, so I figured I'd just replace it while I'm up here. This stuff here, a little bit of surface rust on it, but I can't break through it with a hammer, so it must be all, it's good. Then down in here I filled those two holes down and along this edge here, right there and right there, and welded all along here is good, all along there is good. That floor is, I'm going to say that floor is pretty well done. So now I have to lift it because I got to fix this hole right here from underneath, and that stuff there from underneath, and there's a hole right in here underneath that I have to fix from underneath. So we'll go underneath for a while.
Yeah, so I've been working away at the bottom bits here. This piece here, that piece there. Now I have to put that piece here, and I put a little piece right there. So I got to clean that up a bit so I can get an edge to put that along. And then that should be done, except for right in there. I remember I poked a hole through the pan right in there, and you can see that. I wonder, can you see that in there? Yeah, you can see that hole up there. So how do I fix that? Because there's a frame here and there's frame up above. I'll think about it. Yeah, there now. That's all that stuff patched up down below. Still one more thing to work on above there, and a couple of pinholes that I'm going to get from the top. Now, I'll grind that up right now, I think.
Yeah, there you are. So
New piece there, all new in the front now.
all the way back here. And Barney Rubble is officially out of here because it's all closed in. I think there's a little patch in here. I got a couple of pinholes in here to fix. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. I fixed this one back in here now. That's solid. This thing here, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'll do about that because I can't reach in there very easily. I bet you I could reach in there, and I'll see if I can get that cut out, and then I'll see if I can weld the piece in from above here somehow or other. That'll be a tomorrow project. Done for the day. So now, new floors everywhere you look. And the day is done. And what day is it? It's Wednesday today. So I'm going to back at it again tomorrow. I'll get rid of all this. I saved those pieces there so I'd have something to guide me. Now I've got this stuff. It's over in there. There's a box on the shelf over there. And it's got fiberglass or metal, anyhow, what you put on the top of a weld. So I'll start working on that maybe. Or, maybe I should go get the doors and see what I can do about making sure the doors are in working condition. Oh, too many things. One of these things, I'll do something. Oh yeah, I think the next thing I was going to do, I was fixing the floor, right? I fixed the floor so I could put the muffler back on. So that's what I'll do. I'll put the exhaust system on and the muffler on. That'll be a tomorrow thing. And yay, then I can maybe start the car, and it might run more than a minute. We'll just see. Yeah, here I am, back at it. The only thing I really have to do now is figure out how to do something about that. And the clock is still going, ticking away, 3 days in a row. So I've got some small grinder stuff that I'll clean off that with, and maybe I'll just put some fiberglass filler in there just to seal that up, because I don't think I can reach it with anything else. Anyhow, I'll see if I can clean it up and then we'll figure out what to do. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen this in action before, but there's a channel called Make It Custom, and he had his shop teacher in high school showed him how to do this. Make little plugs for filling holes. So you cut a hole to a 7/16, and then this thing here, make a little plug for you. So that's what what it does. And then these holes, these plugs can go into, I'm going to try very gently to weld these holes shut with these plugs, because there's only, I can't really reach in there. So if I get them welded shut, then I'll put some fiberglass type of filler in there just to seal them up, and hopefully they won't get any worse. We'll see what happens. Now the reason is that on the top here, this is framework above I didn't want to take out, and then below there's framework below that I didn't want to take out, just for that little bit. So the way this is that it's just like a two half-inch pieces of steel, and I drilled a hole through it. Wait till I get that out of there. Hang on. Ouch. Bash my hand. Yeah, so it's just two pieces of half-inch steel, and I put a couple of spacers in between, then welded it at the end here so that they stay the same. And then this thing that I pound on is an old drill bit that was, here we are, a worn out drill bit, and I just cut off the end of it, and then on the lathe over there I did a little bit of facing on it to make it nice and these edges sharp, so that when you put it in, it fits that hole, and you pound it through and it makes a nice little hole, punched like a paper punch when you were a kid, eh? Anyway, there you go. And then you just lift it up with a magnet and put it into a spot, give it a touch of a weld on it, and then see how it works out. Now I'll set up the welder over here. This is I've got a, what do you call this, an ESAB smart welder it's called. And right now I usually run it at like 20 gauge steel, which even though I use 18 gauge, it's welding onto about 22 gauge, or maybe less, maybe even thinner. So I'll set it up so it's going to be going for 24 gauge, which is as narrow as it'll get. And I run number 6 wire through it. That might be able to weld those things in there without burning through. And I'll see what happens. Like, you can set for a more fill or less fill, but I just leave it in the middle most of the time. Anyway, there we go. Yeah, it's not very pretty, but all those holes are filled. So I'm going to go through there with the wire brush, vacuum it out, and then I'm going to put that fiberglass sealer in there and see if that'll finish it up. Yeah, there now. Welded it all up, and then I put that sealer in there. It's not flattened down at all, but we'll see how it works out. It's got to be like I've got it on here too, and just because you have to mix up that much to make a batch. Then I'll see how it works out here. That sort of fills in all the pinholes, I'm sure. And that should be sealed up pretty good there now, and I'll go ahead and, if it hardens up nice, I'll finish up the rest of finish up the rest of along here and all this stuff with that inside here. Yeah, there now. The exhaust pipe is back on it. Now up there where I got to turn some light on up in there, eh? Can you see that now? Right up in there, that one bolt. That's the one that I welded onto the cast. It seems to be holding all right. I didn't put too much pressure on it. There was a new bolt went in there, and a new gasket. And then up in here, a new bolt went into there. The one on the far side there, I had to put a nut on top of it because it was stripping the threads out. This thing here, there's supposed to be something that holds on to, maybe it just goes right across to this right here. There's a nut here somewhere to hold that so that it stays with the motor. I'll see what I can find out about that. Maybe I'll make a piece. I'll see what I find out. I welded this back together back here where where I'd cut it earlier, and I've got the
the muffler's held on by two donuts, one there, a longer one, and one there, a shorter one. And then, so it moves around, it doesn't whack on anything yet. I guess I gotta take that line out of here. I put this line up here to hold it while I was working on it. There, that's free. Now I just have to get it, there's supposed to be a hanger right here that was rotted off of it, so I'll get a new hanger for that and make that happen somehow or other. Now I've got, see the, up here. This is where my dilemma with the fuel is. And one little tiny leak right there that I'll have to sort out. Anyhow, not worried about that little tiny bit. But I'm going to try on the other end, way up the other end, I'm going to see what happens if I leave the fuel pump off. I'm going to unhook one of the lines and just turn the engine a couple of times and see if fuel spouts out. If it does, I'm going to let that be for a while. Yeah, there's that seal stuff in there now, and that stuff is hard like a rock, so I think we're okay. I'm not going to worry about that little bit underneath there at all. And then I'm going to do the rest of the seams in that I've on the inside. I'll do that with the seam sealer. Then we'll put a coat of paint on everything. Yeah, so back to the task at hand. I made a little piece of metal that I'm going to put across from here to here. Wonder where it is. Wait a second, I'll find it. Yeah, here it is. So I put a bend in it so it's got some strength to it, and it's 18 gauge steel, so it's all right. And I'll just stick it up right in like that, onto that bolt, and then onto that. And that'll keep this from shaking back and forth, and hopefully won't break that thing up there again. That'll just make it solid to the engine up here. Then any vibrations that gets back there, all the vibrations will live back there. So I'll get that hooked on, and that should work pretty good. Yeah, there it is. That's that little piece made, and it should work out all right. So I put a lip along the top here, and then I made the bend on that, and so I'll let that dry for a few minutes and stick it on. Yeah, there, that piece looks like it's supposed to be there. And that holds that solid from wobbling back and forth. Anyhow, there's supposed to be another something holding on to here. I don't know where it's supposed to hook onto though. Maybe it sort of goes on and twists around, but I think I'm going to leave that one be. There will be I'll get a hanger for here that will work for that. Now there's something gratifying, and it sounds really, really quiet. The exhaust is going out the door. Looks like the ignition light went out, so it must be charging. Must be kind of happy about that. I'll take a look here and see if it's got oil pressure. Yeah, it's got oil pressure up around 40. And the bolts are up on high. Nothing showing on the fuel because of course there's nothing there to show. It says the choke is on, but that's this thing here. Here's the real choke here. Won't quite idle yet. I have to turn it up a bit, I think. Let it warm up for a while and it might idle. I'm amazed. It's running nice. We'll get it all sorted out there. Like half of the vacuum hoses aren't on it and stuff like that. So I guess it's time to put the brakes together and see if the clutch works and stuff like that. Well, I'll be check underneath to see if there's any oil leaks. Yeah, there we go. Whatever. Anyway, that's good enough for me. I think we're happy. Yeah, so there's a little bit of water on the floor here from when it was running, but I think that was from the exhaust pipe was out. This part of the exhaust pipe was in here. So it wouldn't have had water in it. But so there's water coming from somewhere in the system, and I want to check the hoses anyhow, and then that'll be okay. Interesting. I'll find out where the water is coming from. And I'm not really too awful worried about that right now because there's only just a couple of drops of water. Came somewhere here, and it looks like it came right here and came down through here. So I wonder if that's old water that was hidden away in there somewhere. I'll have to check above and see. I don't see any oil leaks, so I'm happy with that. And I'll find out where that water is coming from, whether it's coming from somewhere above or somewhere below. Anyway, it runs nice, sounds good. Didn't sound any knocking or anything like that, so maybe it's okay. That's really quite encouraging. So this little piece here is bent and crumpled, and I can't seem to get it uncrumpled. I think what I'll do is I'll just cut it out from here to here and see if I can make a new piece to go in there. And then if I can, I'll do the same on this side here where it's crumpled also. I think it's from trying to tow the car. A little bit of a crumpled piece underneath here, but I don't know that I can do anything about that. I'll just live with that if I can get these ones here straightened out to look nice. And then this little piece here, I'll just cut out that little bit right there and remake that and put it back in. See what I can do about that. Yeah, now there's the first little piece there. It goes right in here. And I'll make a new piece to go in here. Then I'll cut out the next one and see what happens then. It's in good shape otherwise, except for those crumples along there. Yeah, there's a piece pretty close to the right shape. Not exactly right. I've got this, whoops, this bend here should be a little bit farther forward, so I'll change that somehow or other. And then, otherwise, I think it's pretty close. Yeah, that's surprisingly close to a good fit there. I think I'll let it set for overnight. I'll think about it because it's got a bit of an angle to it there that I've got to get sorted out somehow or other. Doesn't come across flat. Well, I think that's because it was all bent before. Maybe I have to just pull this bit down a bit and that'll make it happen. We'll see. There, that's a pretty good fit in there. It'll make it so that ugly old bend is gone out of it. And then I think that's all right. I'll finish welding that up tomorrow. So here's the piece that came out, right? Yucko is crunchoed and cracked. And so this piece here, that'll make it look better, and that's a very nice fit. So anyhow, I'll get it welded in tomorrow and see where it comes from there. Yeah, there I've got this fitted pretty good. A little bit, I'll have to do a little bit of hammer work right there, but I'll weld it here and I'll weld it up here so that it's in the right spot. Then I'll do a little bit of hammer work on it to get it all come together to the same relative flatness. This side here, yeah, both sides are pretty good. Okay, here we go. Yeah, there it is. That's not too bad a job there, and it feels good across here. I'll put some filler on that stuff to make it smooth. Can't get a grinder in anywhere near that. I'll find something that'll get in there. Now, next one is either this one, eh? These are both right underneath the tow hooks, so I presume it was towing stuff that got that all bent. So maybe I'll cut it out here to here again and put in a new piece across there. And then there's this little bit here, but it's all interconnected to this. So I'll just cut out that little bit across here and down and make a smaller patch right in there. So next I'll cut out this one and do it up. Yeah, so how do I make that piece to look like that idea? So the first thing I did, like I took a piece of straight steel like that. Then I cut it out to the right width. I was pretty careful about cutting this thing straight, so that's about the right width. I might have to do a little bit of fitting to make it right. Then the first part I made was the nose piece, which would be right up there. And so I built this thing a long time ago. It's got, like if I turn it upside down, there's a little space in there where you can bend shallower angles. But these are the rods out of a set of shock absorbers, which are quite nice. They're just the right size, and they're good hard steel. So you just stick that around there and then wrap it around. If you want to get tight, you can hit it with a hammer if you want to get it a tighter curve. And then out here, if you want a tighter curve, you can put it on there. This thing here is for, like I built that for a different kind of a spacer there that, I forget what I needed that kind of a space. That one's got pardon me. This one here has got a smaller space so that it'll get a tighter curve. If you want to tighten the curve up, or this one here, if you want kind of a looser curve, you use that side. Down below here you get, like there's a gap right through here. So if I wanted to curve this, make a curve in there like that, that's how I'd do that. So that, I don't want that, but well, maybe I do right here. Kind of a curve like that, maybe a little bit tighter. See what happens here. That's kind of the curve that I want for that little bit right there. I'll check it out, measure it, and see if I can get it right. Anyway, that's how it gets made, and then I'll fit it in. But then, to get the straight angles like that angle there, which is a straight angle right here, and then this angle here, which is a straight angle, I use the metal brake for that. And the same thing here, I was going to use it for that little bit of a bend that I need right here. So I just put it in. I need a little bend right there, so I just do that. And there's the bend that I kind of want. I might have to straighten that out a bit. See how it works out. So there you go. I'll carry on. Yeah, there's the basic shape here. So then it's got this complex curve up here, and then straight down, and then up the back. That's the top. And down here, and it does this bit of a thing like that. And then I trim it off right here, and then I'll weld it into place. Yeah, there it is. That's all in there now. It actually looks pretty nice. It's nice smooth across here now instead of that crumpled up thing. Now I'll just cut out this little bit here. I'm not sure how much I'll cut out here yet, but we're pointing the wrong way, of course. So from here to here, perhaps, I'll take this off of here. I don't know what it's for. But from about here to here, and then back about that far, and I'll see if I can make that little piece right there. There you go. There's fix number 1, fix number 2 in the center, fix number 3 on that side there. And they all look pretty good. I'm happy with them. the outside ones. This one here is not quite as good on the fit at that part because of course there's a joint there. But I'll put some of that body filler in there and that'll fix that. Here you go. Yeah, the UPS guy came today and delivered this thing here, Optronic Ignition. And so there's the, oops, that part there fits on the, what do you call that, in the car there, on the distributor. This part goes somewhere in the car, or on the firewall of the car, and then you plug into it somewhere. Negative earth, it says, but there are instructions right here. So I'll read these instructions and then I might go after that, but that'll likely be for, you know, next week.